Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. It's going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. So we are going to do a video on power couples in this game. Quite an interesting topic. I really love the idea of this. I love the idea of what they've put in the game, that two champions can synergize together and make themselves stronger. But we're going to go through them. There's only, what we've got here, 8 different couples that have got this ability in the game. Personally, I'd like to see more, and I'd like to see some which filter down into more rare champions and epics. But let's go over the ones we've got. Let's decide whether it's worth building them up. I think I'm going to do it in order, actually, of who I think are the weakest up to the strongest. So let's start then with the ones which I think are the weakest. So we're going to go into... where do you hide? Where do you hide? I should have written this on my notes. Barbarians, yes. So we've got a synergy between Atur and Kalia. Now, Atur is quite a good champion. He's quite a good champion for Barbarians. Barbarians is quite a weak faction anyway. But I probably wouldn't build him too far outside of Faction Wars. You know, it doesn't feel like he's particularly strong outside of Faction Wars. He gets a pretty good review, generally, which is fair. He does have Provoke. Provoke's a good debuff. Got another Provoke here. And he's got this counter attack when he takes a hit, which is quite nice as well. His ability when he's got Kalia in the same team makes him immune to stun, freeze, and sleep. All of that is really good. So the Atur side of this is good. He's a pretty solid champion, like mid-tier epic. If you've got him, he's not a bad one to build if you've not got many epics. But if we look at Kalia, now Kalia is just generally pretty trash as a champ. Very low defense, good speed, good attack, but her defense is so low. She does have an HP burn here. She's got AoE ability here, heal reduction, and another kind of free hitter HP burn here. I guess if you are really struggling on Spider, she could help you with Spider, but she's the wrong affinity to help you on 20. And her kind of gain for having a Atur in the team is that she heals by 15% of the damage inflicted. It's weak. It's weak, really. I guess it's like having a mini lifesteal set on. But her abilities are just too weak generally. So for me, if I got these two, it's a no. I'm not building them for synergy. So let's move on to the next two then. Next two is another set of epics, Sacred Order epics. We've got Juliana, who is a very solid clan boss champion if you don't have any of the crazy poisoners, and if you don't have a counter attack, and if you don't have a good ally attack. A lot of and if, but a lot of people are in that position, you know. A lot of people do not have the counter attack yet or the ally attack yet. So Juliana fills that clan boss role really well with poison on her A2, HP burn on her A3, and then a kind of turn meter boost on her A1. So all of her kit is pretty solid. If she gets her partner in here, Romero, she ignores 50% of the target's defense, which again is pretty solid. These two can pair together nicely definitely for Faction Wars, but also for Clan Boss. But for me, Giuliana is kind of like an old world epic, used to be top of her game. Now she sits quite a long way behind a lot of others. And Romero firmly sits way further back than that. So, you know, he's got this weak heal here, which only goes on one ally for one turn. Weak heal. It needs to be buffed. It's not strong enough. He places continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. One of the continuous heal is 15%. Again, it's not really strong enough. You almost want this plus a shield, or, you know, this and he does some damage, or something else. This and speed. It's not good enough. And then he places a shield here and increased defense on this champion for 2 turns. So shield on all allies and increased defense on this champion for 2 turns. Again, it's okay. It's not good enough for an epic compared to a lot of the epics that are out there nowadays. His kit just lacks being an epic. It feels more like a rare that they've just made than an epic they've just made. When he's got Giuliano on the same team, he attacks all enemies 3 times. This can hit a reasonable amount. This does give you a kind of a worthwhile reason to pair him with Juliana. But again, for me, coming in kind of second to bottom of the list, I wouldn't build them both for the synergy they bring, unless you're struggling for epics. There's a lot better epics and rares out there than these two now. Early game, these were I think introduced into the game right at the start. Early game they were strong. Now they are way down the pecking order. So who's going to be next up? Next up, or maybe these should have come before those actually. This is a pretty bad one. Because they're both quite weak, but Skull Lord, he was the fusion. He's a legendary champion. He doesn't behave like a legendary champion. He's got a single target provoke, a heal reduction here, and an AoE decrease attack. It's okay. He hits like a wet noodle. He is not strong at all. This does nothing. But this is his synergy then. So when he's got a Skull Sworn on the team, he can revive a Skull Sworn every turn with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. I mean, Skull Swans are rare. I like that he's a rare, I guess, because at least you can build everyone can get him. He's farmable. So that's quite nice. But he's so weak. He's so weak and so bad. I mean, you would have to build your whole team around making this work. And, you know, build this guy with crazy attack and some speed. You get some speed and counter attack. For me, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the synergy. It's not worth using either of them in the game. So those come in 6th, maybe 7th, switching with Giuliano Romero. So now every other set are double... no, not every other set, except one are double legendaries. And that's what I wish they would change in this game. I wish there was perhaps either a synergy. Maybe you could have made someone like this. This could have been a Lizardman. So the synergy is the whole faction instead of just this one weak rare. Or I wish there would be some more epic synergies which really make an impact. You know, some of the kind of mid-tier champs that maybe someone like Stag Knight pairs up with Oathbound, both good epics, which if they had a synergy together would make them kind of top class. That's what I wish they'd do. Or maybe they would pick someone that's already a strong rare, like a War Maiden, and synergized it with someone like a Sky Touched. Both good champions, both got usability in the game, functionality in the game. So yeah, so I wish they'd do it a bit more, but perhaps with champions that are a bit more relevant. So let's go then to the next one up. And the next one up for me is going to be Belenar. Very hard to get as a Void legendary. Pairing up with Xavier. Now, both of these are good champs, actually. Both are very good champs. So this synergy works. The reason why they're pretty far down the list is so hard to get them as a pair. But I guess if you do get them, is it worth it? So Belenar already, decreased defense and weaken on his A2. Really strong ability. It's a single target. I think it's single target. One enemy, yeah. He's got increased crit rate, okay ability on his A1. He's got an okay ability on his A2. But when he synergizes with Xavier, he gets a poison, decreased attack, decreased speed, and decreased accuracy debuff. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. It's single target. I tell you what, you made this AoE, and these guys would fly way further up the list. Single target, single poison. Because the synergy really is that Xavier, and they're not in the same faction, by the way, so they don't work in faction wars. It's kind of like a light and dark thing. But Xavier in the Dark Elves does have a kind of poison blow up, yeah, and a block revive. So if Belenar was throwing poisons everywhere, then that could be pretty cool. She gets a debuff spread when she's with Belenar. So Belenar places that single, I guess. She spreads it all before she does her next move. It's a little bit, and 5-turn cooldown, you know, it's a little bit weak. The rest of her kit is better than this. So for me, yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's a bit weak. I guess you could debuff spread a ton of poisons if there was more poisons out there. But for me, the synergy isn't strong enough considering they're two top-tier legendaries. Needs to be a bit more refined, a bit more in tune with both of their kits to make that really, really strong. So for me, they come in 5th place. Right, next two then, we're going to go with Minaya and Corona. Again, these two, where do I find these two? We've got a Skinwalker in Corona. Again, Void legendary, so very difficult to get. On his own, he's a strong champion. He's a strong champion. Doesn't hit that hard, but he does have a crazy kit. But he actually synergizes a lot with Minaya. So he's got an AoE ability on his A1 and has got a 50% chance to drop turn meter. When he's got Minaya on the team, he attacks twice and it becomes a 100% chance to drop turn meter, which is kind of busted. So this is one of the more recent ones, and they've got more synergy going on here, which I like. Removes all debuffs from this champion before placing block debuffs, so that's his normal ability, and increased defense buff if Minaya is on the same team. Again, brilliant synergy here, like this. We've got another one here. So he counterattacks when hit by champions under decreased attack and defense or speed. Always counterattacks if Minaya is on the same team, and he counterattacks with this one where Minaya is on the same team. He's got 100% chance to drop turn meter. So the two of them synergizing together is actually really strong. So his side of it is nice. Where's Minaya? Is she in this one? No. Bannerlord, yeah. So Minaya then, a pretty good champion, not insane. Continuous heal on her A1, good heal on her A2, ally shield and block debuffs here. This is nice as well. And then when she's got Corona on the same team, she fills turn meters of all allies by 20% when this champion is killed. Revives this champion with 75% HP when killed if Corona's on the same team. So she does this anyway, but she does this if Corona's on the same team, which is a really, really nice synergy. So for me, these two synergize well together. I would definitely be running them together if I could. It's a shame that these are not in the same faction, again, for Faction Wars, but still, good. And I guess it works because they blatantly wouldn't sit in the same faction, but very nice synergy there. So let's get to the top three then. Second place is going to be Venus and Cupidus. So I don't have a Venus, I do have the Cupidus. If I got Venus, I would definitely build this guy up and max him out. So we've got AoE ability anyway on his A1, which hits hard. We've got HP burn 3 times random on his A2, quite nice for Spider. 50% chance of placing an AoE burn on everybody if he kills someone. This is very nice for Spider. If you just kill a Spiderling, you throw HP burns all over the place. But then when Venus is on the same team, attacks inflict 25% more damage to targets under debuffs. That's just a great, very simple mechanic, but he gets a chunk more damage. 25% is a lot more damage as well. So that's a really nice synergy there. Venus, we know, is already insanely strong in this game. She's got everything you could possibly need in her kit. She brings those debuffs for Cupidus to activate that ability. And then she's got this piece here, removes all buffs from all enemies and a 50% chance of getting an extra turn when Cupidus is on the same team. Brilliant. Brilliant. Simple again. Brilliant. These two together, absolutely legendary status, but very hard to get. So we're going to go to second place. Second place is more achievable than everything we've seen so far. A lot of people eventually will get this partnership. We've got Senacia and we've got Skullcrown. On their own, both very strong champs. So Senacia, AoE on her A1. They synergize really well because actually their kit works well together. So you've got Skullcrown, her A1, hits twice, places an extra hit if the target has more than 50% HP. So she hits twice if they're high health. And then Senacia's A1 places an extra hit if they've got less than 50% HP. So the two of them work well together anyway. Senacia's kit does not change with Skullcrown in the team. I wish it did. They should do something just to make it work both ways. Maybe it improves this. Maybe this hits 2 enemies. I don't know. There feels like there should be something else. Maybe this increases. I'm not sure. But if you're going to do the synergy, let's have it both ways. For this kit, the only thing that comes in is this champion revives with 30% HP if Senacia's on the same team. Now, because the two of them synergize so well together anyway, I put them at second place. But if I'm honest, the additional stuff that they bring is not that much. The good thing here is she can come back with 30% HP, which is cool. And then actually Senacia's got this ability which equalizes all HP of all champions. So if it falls in line in the right time, Senacia can pretty much max out Skullcrown's health again. And Skullcrown, with her ability to have unkillable, and she revives as well, she becomes really hard to kill. So it does work quite nicely, but it just feels like there needs to be a touch more. 30% HP, maybe it needs to be 50, or maybe it should be 30 and reset this. I don't know, but at the moment the synergy is okay, but it's not insane. And maybe that's how it should be. They're both epics, but at least give something else this way for me. Give something else this way, because maybe it's if Skullcrown dies, she gets 100% turn meter or something like that, so that she can use this definitely. But good synergy anyway. We see it used a lot in compositions. You've seen it in my arena team. I can quickly show you, I guess, how these two work together. You actually see someone using it here, 4K, and here. So we're literally at like top end plat, and these are top end plat teams. And I use it in my plat team as well. To be honest, I'm not sure if I'm faster than any of these champs, which I do need to be. But the way you'll see it, whether I win or not, you'll see it either they kill me or I kill them. But basically, the idea is I'm not faster, so I'm going to lose. We get Skullcrown hits me, and then Senacia hits me straight after and nukes the team. I would do it the other way around if I was quicker, but I'm not. I'm going to have to put some damage back, but there's no point because she's got the unkillable. So as long as she went first, they win the game. And it's exactly the same for my team. So you can see how well they work together at really high-end arena. So then the last one, and the winners, I'm sure you all guessed it before I even put the video out. We have got two busted champions that synergize together. Rotas, King of the Mr. Busteds, and Sifi, Queen of the Busteds. And Queen of the Busteds in the whole game. So, Rotas, insane anyway. Chance to extra turn here, gains tons of health here, and can't be... and has got a passive that he can't be killed in a one-shot. He's got a chance of extra turns, block revives, ignore defense, ignore unkillable, ignore everything in the game that's strong here. And then when he gets Sifi on the same team, decreases the damage taken by bosses by 15%. Okay, I like that. That's a nice one to do. Decreases the damage taken by bosses by 30% if Sifi's on the same team. This side of it I don't actually mind. This side of it I don't mind. The rest of his kit's busted, but that synergy there is fine for me. Now if we go into Sifi, crazy A1, crazy A2 with all the best buffs in the game, crazy A3, reviving people with full turn meter, over half health, which if you think about Rotas can't be one shot if he gets hit for half of his health. So this revives him to make sure he can't be one shot. That's pretty nuts in synergy anyway. But then this is the crazy one. So removes all debuffs from Rotas at the start of their turn if they're on the same team. So if you've frozen him, if you put a stun on him, anything to lock him out, she'll clean. She cleans it off 100% of the time. They're busted anyway. They've got crazy, crazy synergy together. If the rest of their kit was not busted, the two of them, then I like it again. But it is, which means I don't like it. It's just too crazy. Too crazy. These two easily lead the way. And again, if we look at Platinum Arena top players, let's see how many. 1, 2. Trust me, if he had a Sifi, she'd be in the team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of the top 10 have got them as a defense. I'm certain that if the other people had them, they would be in their defense. 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of the top 20 have got them in their defense. And again, I'm certain if more had them, they would put them in because they're way stronger than anyone else in the game. So, guys, comment below. Would you like to see more champion synergies? What do you think of the ones that we've got? Have I put any in the wrong order? I've been Hell Hades. I'll catch you all soon.